At one point, I was publishing 3 podcast episodes every week in 5 languages. That's 15 audio episodes every week, about 60 every month. 12 of those were in English. I could do it. So I did. Now I'm asking a different question. How helpful was that really? I could release an episode every day. I could release more than one a day, especially if I stopped using my voice. The production capacity exists. I can also see the downloads. I know hundreds of people listen to this podcast every week, and there have been thousands of downloads. People are here. The question is, what actually helps you do something with what you hear? Starting now, the podcast will come out once a week, every Wednesday. The newsletter already comes out every Sunday. And that isn't changing. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Settle in. I'm Makeda Boehm. I've closed nearly $10 million in tech sales over 4 years, earned 7 figures doing it. And I created context training, the human skill of teaching AI your world so it can stop guessing and start doing useful work. AI is moving at the speed of daily, and I help you keep up. Let me be precise about the time. I had time to read the scripts, and I did. The issue was what that time was taking away from. Every episode carrying my voice gets a close read. I need to know the idea is mine, the language is clear, and I can stand behind what my voice is saying. I've committed to reading these scripts even more carefully because a system sounding like me raises the standard. It doesn't lower it. When I read 2 or 3 scripts every week, I'm choosing to spend that time there instead of somewhere else. That time isn't fake because AI helped create the first draft. It still comes out of the same life. Right now, that life includes finishing a book that releases September 4th. It includes building EverFreely. It includes preparing for speaking engagements already scheduled for the fall and making room for more in the winter. It includes my family, my work, my home, and every other part of my life that doesn't disappear because technology made content easier to produce. Here's the piece I think we miss when we talk about AI and capacity. AI makes more possible. It doesn't make every possible thing equally worthy of your attention. You can write more, you can publish more, you can build more offers, more agents, more automations, more products, more everything. Then all of those things need to be read, maintained, corrected, supported, distributed, and improved. The first output may be faster. The full life of the thing still costs something. There's also a cost on the other side. More information doesn't always create more understanding. I can give you 3 episodes every week. You still have to decide which ones to hear, find the time to listen, understand the idea, and then do something with it. At some point, more teaching becomes another pile of information waiting for you. That isn't what I'm trying to build here. I want to create quality content, good ideas, and things you can actually use. I want you to understand and adopt AI in a way that gives you what my promise has always been: more money, more time, and more options. How is this giving you back your life? If I can't answer that about the content itself, then I'm not demonstrating the thing I teach. The newsletter does real work. People respond to it. One strong podcast episode every week can do real work too. It gives you enough room to hear the idea, and it gives me enough room to make sure the idea deserves your time. And honestly, this decision became much clearer while I was writing the book. Context training has made me look again at EverFreely. EverFreely is an idea I've cared about for a long time. It helps independent experts find revenue, Sometimes that means actual dollars through business grants and other funding opportunities, including funded accelerators and pitch competitions. Sometimes it means opportunities that can bring you more leads, like speaking, podcast interviews, press, bylines, awards, and fellowships. The opportunity itself may not hand you a check, but it can put your work in front of the people who will hire you, refer you, fund you, or bring you into the next room. EverFreely is also for professionals building thought leadership and a personal brand around what they know. A personal brand is career infrastructure. When your role changes, your company changes, or the job market changes, your ideas, your body of work, your relationships, and the proof of how you think can travel with you. I think of that as a retirement plan. I don't mean it replaces saving and investing. I mean you're building an asset you own, one that can keep creating options beyond any single title or job. Building that asset before you need it is one of the best things you can do to stay competitive in the job market, strengthen your career, and grow your executive presence. Speaking, podcast interviews, press, bylines, awards, and fellowships give other people a way to see your expertise before you enter an interview, ask for the next opportunity, or move into a larger leadership role. Executive presence isn't only how you carry yourself in a meeting, it's also your ability to explain what you know, why it matters, and what you believe should happen next. Thought leadership gives you a place to practice that in public and build proof around it. I've decided to stop beating around the bush and revive EverFreely as an app. If you're an independent expert looking for revenue or a professional building your thought leadership and personal brand, the EverFreely waitlist is open now at seedandsociety.com/EverFreely. The link is also in the show notes. Join the waitlist to be one of the first to know when the app launches. How I came back to this decision matters because the spine of EverFreely was always context training. Even before I had the clearest language for it, the system needs to understand who you are, what you've done, what you're qualified for, which stories and evidence belong to you, what you want, and what you won't claim. Then it can look at an opportunity, compare that opportunity to your actual context, explain the fit, show you what's missing, and help you prepare the application. That's context training applied to a very specific job. For a while, I thought the best way to give people access was to teach the architecture. I could show you how the system worked and give you the pieces. Then you could use Codex, Claude Code, DeepSeek, or whatever tool you preferred to build and customize it for yourself. I still believe people should understand and own their context. You should be able to define it, correct it, and decide how it's used. But I learned that giving someone the architecture isn't the same as giving them a usable system. The learning curve was too steep. The information itself wasn't wrong. The way a person had to use it was asking too much. I was giving people the blueprint, then leaving them to do the construction. Their goal wasn't to become a software company. Their goal was to find a credible path to revenue, understand whether the opportunity fit, and submit something that represented them well. That distinction matters far beyond EverFreely. You can give somebody everything you know and still leave them overwhelmed. You can hand them a complete resource library, 5 tutorials, 12 templates, and a 30-step process. Every piece can be correct. If they can't see where to begin or get to a useful result, the information hasn't finished its job. Digestible doesn't mean shallow. It means the person can move from understanding to action without first taking on 5 new professions. This is part of context training, too. The point is to let people own what the system understands about them, see it, and correct it without requiring them to build every layer carrying that understanding. You still had to work with code. You had to push changes into GitHub, set up a database, connect the different services, configure email, schedule the tasks, and make sure everything actually ran every day. Then you needed a scoring system. The opportunities had to be compared against your profile, your goals, your evidence, and the kind of work you wanted. The system needed a way to tell you why something fit instead of handing you another generic list. That's a lot. A service-based business owner shouldn't need to become their own software engineer before they can stop rebuilding the same grant or speaking application from scratch. A speaker shouldn't need to understand deployment before they can paste in a call for speakers and see whether it fits their experience. A consultant or fractional executive shouldn't need to build a database, scoring matrix, and scheduled tasks just to keep useful opportunities from disappearing into an open browser tab. Technically, they can learn all of that. That doesn't mean they should have to. That's where the title of this episode turned around on me. Sometimes just because you can doesn't mean you should is about doing less. I can publish 60 audio episodes a month. I shouldn't because volume isn't the thing I'm trying to create.
Sometimes it means making something easier for the person on the other side. You can build the whole EverFreely system yourself from the architecture. Most of the people it's meant to help don't want another technical project. They want qualified opportunities with a credible path to dollars or leads and applications that use their real experience without making them rebuild their story every time. Building and deploying an app isn't as easy as the age of vibe coding sometimes makes it look. Getting a prototype to work is one thing. Making the whole product reliable, useful, secure, understandable, and ready for another person to depend on is more work. I got overwhelmed by that for a while. It's also doable. I've built and deployed software, and now I have the clearest architecture I've ever had for what makes EverFreely work. Context training is the part that makes it useful. The app will build an opportunity context foundation from the information you approve. You will be able to bring in a grant, a speaking application, a podcast opportunity, or another link that could lead to revenue. The system will read what the opportunity requires, compare it with what is actually true about you, tell you whether it appears worth pursuing, identify missing information, and help prepare the answers. You still review anything that represents you. The system can't invent credentials, promise outcomes, or make a final decision in your name. That's what I'm building toward. EverFreely isn't available for purchase yet. The waitlist is open now, and the people on it will be the first to know when it launches. That's my not yet, and this has made the direction of Seed in Society clearer than it has ever been. I'm releasing the context training book. I'm building EverFreely toward release, and I'm bringing context training workshops to groups. The book teaches the skill. The app applies it to recurring opportunity work. The workshops help a room understand and use it together. That's what Seed in Society does now. The people I spoke to throughout Season 2 still belong here. Service-based business owners, speakers, consultants, founders, fractional executives, And independent experts are exactly the people who understand how much time disappears into finding opportunities and rebuilding the same information. Professionals building thought leadership and a portable personal brand belong here too, because they are building career options that can travel with them. At the same time, the people who have been booking me and reaching out are organizations and membership groups, chambers, cooperatives, companies, and small teams that need to bring this capability to a room full of people. Those groups don't need every person experimenting alone and getting completely different results. They need shared language, stronger judgment, and a practical way to help AI understand the work their people already know. The same idea serves both without asking everybody to buy the same thing. This is the company shift happening in real time. It's also the same decision I'm making with the podcast. I'm paying attention to what actually moves the needle, not what I can produce, not what makes the content calendar look full, not what proves the technology is capable, what helps you understand something, use it, and create a result that matters in your life. Here's the question I want you to take from this episode. What are you still doing because you proved that you could? Maybe you built a content schedule you no longer want to feed. Maybe you created an offer because it fit neatly between two other offers. Maybe you automated a process that should have been removed. Maybe you gave people so much information that they need another system just to understand what to do with it. Look at the evidence. What do people actually respond to? What do they finish? What do they use? What creates money, saves time, or gives somebody a real option they did not have before? Then look at what that work costs across its full life. The review, the maintenance, the support, the updates, and the attention it takes away from everything else you are building. Run that test against the last 30 days, not the version of the work you hope people are using. Look at the replies, the downloads, the applications completed, the meetings booked, the time saved, or whatever result the work was meant to create. Then try an experiment. Cut the volume in half for 1 month and put the reclaimed time into the strongest thing. Make the one episode better. Improve the one offer people already understand. Finish the system that has been sitting at 80% because 5 smaller things keep interrupting it. At the end of the month, look again. Did the result get worse, or did you finally give the useful work enough room to do its job? You don't have to stop doing ambitious things. I'm building an app, releasing a book, delivering workshops, speaking, publishing a newsletter, and continuing this podcast. You can keep the ambition and become much more selective about what deserves it. The answer is to make the work earn its place in your life. 1 strong episode every Wednesday earns its place for me. It lets me give you something worth hearing and then use the rest of that time to build the book, the app, the workshops, the speaking work, and the life all of it is supposed to support. This is me taking back my life while teaching you how to use AI to take back yours. The podcast will come out every Wednesday and the newsletter stays on Sunday. That's more money because I'm putting my attention behind the work people use, value, and buy. That's more time because producing more isn't automatically more useful. And that's more options because the time I take back can build something durable instead of feeding a schedule simply because I can. If you want to understand the foundation underneath all of this, pre-order context training, Teach AI Your World, so it stops guessing and starts working for you. It releases September 4, and the link is in the show notes. Until next time, continue planting the seeds for a better society.